Good morning and welcome to ImmsBC training for admin support. Today's training will cover basic navigation within the system, review 4 clinic scenarios, a routine client check-in, a drop-in client who has been registered, a drop-in client without registration, and a client who has presented at the wrong clinic location. Let's get started by logging into the system. The system will only function when using the Chrome browser. Once open, select ImmsBC tab or copy and paste the URL into the address bar. The URL is located on the IH team site. I will review available support and resources at the end of this demonstration. Today I'm using the training environment, so my URL address will look a bit different. I have it open here on my tab. You'll be taken to a login screen where you will select Health Authority Users, and you'll type in your email address. Because I have logged into the system before, it's remembering my email, so I will select that. If it's your first time accessing the system, you'll see a flash here. That was where I first signed my user agreement. When you log in for the first time, you are prompted to review it and then complete it. It outlines the privacy and confidentiality terms, which are important to review since the system contains sensitive data. Once logged in, you are taken to the last application you were in from when you logged out previously. This is the application listed here. To switch applications, choose the app launcher and select from here, from this dropdown. For today's training, we are working within the in-clinic experience. At the beginning of each clinic day, user defaults need to be entered. The date is auto-populated. Ensure this is correct. The clinic location would be blank, and I would type in and select from my recently viewed, or if you haven't been at that location before, you would type in and find it that way. If this information is correct, scroll down and save. This immunization default section is for the clinician that is immunizing today. A user default successfully updated banner displays. After user defaults have been set, choose the Home tab. The Home tab is the starting point for all client check-ins. This is where we will search for the client using a variety of search methods. If you have a QR scanner and the client has brought in this code, select here. Scan the code, and the client profile will show at the bottom of the screen in the results section. If you have a MagSwipe reader, move your cursor to the PHN field, swipe the card, and the number will fill. Alternatively, you can type in the number. If a PHN is not available, the client can be searched by name, taking note that this section is case sensitive. Select Search, move to the bottom of the screen. Under Results, we can find our client here with their appointment time, confirming their date of birth. Select View to open the chart. To finish up, let's review some knowledge guides that are available for you to use while you're navigating through ImmsBC. At the top bar by in-clinic experience, you'll find the knowledge. Select that. And right now I have recently viewed pinned to the top of my bar, and this is all the guides that I've recently looked at. If you're a new user, this set will be empty. Select the drop-down arrow, choose all user guides or published articles, and this will give you everything in the system, including videos and user guides. We'll select all user guides, and we'll scroll down to how to check in a client at a clinic. By selecting that and opening up the file here, it was updated on May 14th by the province. We can make it larger. It gives us step-by-step instructions, which is really great when you are stuck and you need some assistance. So now when I go back to the Knowledge tab, how to check in a client is the top of my list because I recently viewed it. So to pin it, you would select the pin button. I already have mine pinned. A pin would pin it to the top. So whenever opening the Knowledge bar, now all user guides will display. Besides Knowledge, there's a client list. This client list will display your clinic for today's date, and it will show you all the clients that you checked in today. It will show their appointment time and where they are in the system. This client's been completed, so they're home now. These 4 people are waiting to be vaccinated. So they've been checked in and haven't been vaccinated. This is a really good end of day check because all clients that have been vaccinated should not be showing vaccine administration. They should be showing aftercare or complete. If for some reason someone is still in vaccine administration, speak to the clinician or your team lead, as some error management may have to occur here. On this top bar in your Chrome browser, you'll find the Promotion and Prevention tab that takes you to our ImmsBC Resources and Training Support page. This is where you can find the ImmsBC URL address. So you would copy this and put it into the Chrome browser if for some reason the tab wasn't working. It explains how to use the Knowledge tab, user guides, desk side cheat sheets. And if we go to the right, you'll see some real-time support for ImmsBC. So if you're having a particularly hard time with a person checking in, you can select this link and it will open up a Zoom meeting where we have support available to you immediately. If your internet is down, you can call into the same call by calling the number, selecting your meeting ID by the pound. Your participant ID will be a pound sign, and then putting your password in the pound. If it's a question that can wait, email the PP System Support mailbox. And if it's a technical issue, call the help desk and the numbers here. We will update this section for training sessions. So right now we're looking at training for inventory. This is the training link, the times. And down at the bottom is just a where are we at. So all of the sites have gone live now with ImmsBC. Thank you for taking the time to review admin support in ImmsBC. When we open the client's chart, we are taken to the identification screen as indicated in blue. On the left-hand side, we review the client's information. Please note that because we are in the training environment, the EMPI cannot be verified. So let's assume that this hasn't been completed yet. I'll confirm the client's first name, last name, birth date, sex, and save and verify the PHN. In this instance, we'll assume that this was green and that the verification was successful. We can now review and edit the client's demographics and make changes as needed by selecting the pencil edit button. When I reviewed this with the client, there are no changes that need to be made. Over on your right, these are the appointment details for the client. Scroll down to the bottom, and when I select Confirm and Save Identification, this will move the client in the system from identification to vaccine administration. And I know this because by choosing this drop down for action, it is set to send to vaccine administration. Confirm and save, and the client's now been moved to vaccine administration where they will see the clinician. And you're right away taken back to the home page, the home tab, under the in-clinic experience, where you can start over by doing a client search for your next booked appointment. Let's review checking in a client who's presented to your clinic without a booked appointment. Instead of searching for the client within the clinic, which would be this section here, we're going to search for the client in a global search of the system. What we're looking for is the client's registration. Here she is. We'll confirm the birthday. We'll verify the PHN if we need to. Because we are in the training environment, this EMPI cannot be verified. We would also then check eligibility if it has not already been done, and in this case it has been, and the client is eligible. Once I select Check-in Client, I move to the identification screen. Something of note in this area, so under Details, if we scroll down, we can look at the COVID-19 immunization forecast. Because we are in the training environment and the EMPI hasn't been verified, the dose will be set without a number. In other cases where the EMPI is verified, the number displayed here reflects the number they are due for. For example, if it is dose 1 they are due for, the value of 1 will be here in this field. If the client states they had a dose 1 outside of the province, this will not be reflected in the ImmsBC program. So we have confirmed that this client needs their first dose, and we're checking them in by selecting Check-in Client. Now we are moved to the identification screen, where we can review the client information, verify a PHN if we haven't already done that. Green banner displays. We'll pretend that it's green. And we can update demographics if what we see here is incorrect. The client reports that their phone number has changed, so I will update that. Too many numbers. Submit to save that section. Information has been updated. So in the appointment details, because we're seeing this person as a walk-in, their appointment time will be set to the minute that we selected Check-in Client. Now we can confirm and save the identification portion, and by doing so, we are sending the client to vaccine administration. And we are sent back to our Home tab, where we can do a client search for our next appointment. Now I will cover a client who has presented as a walk-in. They have no booked appointment, and they have not registered into the ImmsBC system. First, I will complete a global search for the client looking for their ImmsBC record. Besides using a first and last name search, I could also place my cursor and do a Meg swipe reader with the PHN. PHN would be the most accurate method. So my search has shown me nothing. I can't find the person. So I need to register them into the system. I would select Register, Register New Citizen, and this is where I would complete exactly as it's shown on their BC driver's license or BC services card, their legal first name. Again, their legal last name as it appears on their BC driver's license or BC service card. date of birth, postal code, and because we're in the training environment, I cannot enter a PHN. They don't identify as being Indigenous. Select Next. We'll ignore this because I'm not able to enter PHN, so this will skip past in the system. If the client wants to receive either an email or a text message, complete one or the other. This is how they will receive the notifications for their appointments. Review details. So I'm reviewing this with this client. That is their first and last name, and I will register them. Now they've been successfully registered. Now we're taken to the client's account, where we can see here the registration confirmation number. Either an email or a text message would have been sent to the client with this number. You'll see here where the EMPI verification has occurred. We'll pretend that it's green and that it has been completed. The next step is to check for the client's eligibility. If we scroll down, we can review their COVID-19 immunization forecast. This is an important step as it will flag whether they are due for their first or second dose. Because we are in the training system and EMPI has not been verified, there is no number here. So for checking eligibility, select Check Eligibility, select COVID-19 vaccination, and this client is eligible and now can be booked in. If the client wants to be seen today, which is expected as they were a walk-in, we would want to refresh our screen. Because once we refresh, what we'll see here is the check-in client button has now appeared, and we can continue on as if it is a walk-in. Taken into the Identification tab, where we review the client information. Gender must be completed. Save and verify if it hasn't been done. I'm getting the red banner because I'm in training. And we'll update the address. Client has a phone number they want me to put in. Submit and save that. And as you can see, because we've already checked the client in, the appointment time is set to the minute that we check that button. When we submit confirm and save, we are sending, the action is that we are sending the client to vaccine administration. And we are then taken back to the in-clinic experience home tab where we can check in our next client. Let's review a client who has come into your clinic with an appointment that they believe is at your location. So we will search for the client as we have done with all the others. And there's no results found. What we can do as a second check is clear out the clinic location to be in blank and then search, as the client is adamant that he has an appointment. There we have the results for the client that there is an appointment for the same day and time, first name, last name, the patient will be here with the date of birth, and his clinic location is actually at a different site. We can open the chart and we can rebook them into your current location if you have availability of vaccine and staff. The client has arrived at the wrong clinic or date. Please rebook at this clinic to proceed. So we're brought to the identification screen where we will rebook to the current location. So the date and time and location is at the other site. By rebooking, we are canceling this, where it will be set as missed, and then we are creating a walk-in appointment at our current location. The appointment is successfully booked. So now we can proceed as we would for a routine walk-in. So confirming the name, the last name, birth date, and sex. Because we're in training environment, again, the EMPI cannot be verified. We'll pretend that this is a green banner saying yes, it is successful. We'll update demographics if there are any changes. I reviewed with the client. No, there are none. Submit to save. And then by clicking confirm and save identification, our action is that we will be sending the client to vaccine administration. And again, taken to the Home tab where we can then do a client search for the next client who's presented to our clinic.